Alright, now this is pretty cool. I finally get to customize my ship in Frontier Pilot Simulator. Good stuff. Hello again there, friends and fans. Raptor here, and welcome back. It's good to see you here for another episode of this game as I've been covering updates to Frontier Pilot Simulator over the last year or so. It's been nice to see new things coming in, including this that I'm finding for the first time, the ability to name a, or add a name to your ship, and then also do other things in terms of like customizing them and then saving them and having multiple ships in the fleet in order to deliver cargo. Well, with the release of Microsoft Flight Simulator, I've wanted to play this game again, so welcome back to all of you, the greatest community on YouTube. That's you all. So thank you very much for your support, as always. Pretty good stuff. I'm going to go ahead and try to customize a little bit our ship here and see if there's other stuff for it. This is the smaller ship in the game. I went back to the old original ship here just to see what things would be like. To kind of start over on the old island. Oh, it actually costs quite a bit of credits here. Let's go ahead and make a purchase, though, because it's kind of fun to, there we go, spend a little bit of money that you've been making in delivering cargo. Now, we're kind of broke because of all my other goofing around and crashes, but that's what happens when you're just covering all the latest and greatest updates. We can add different things to our ship, too, like upgrades and change, like, for example, the engines and make the fuselage more durable, or the landing gear more, the ability to like haul heavier cargo and be able to land in rougher conditions is pretty important for a ship like this. It almost is like being a bush pilot or whatnot. So let's go ahead and exit and view the ship here. Go ahead and pull the trigger, and we shall leave and go find a job, or at least just fly around. I find it fun to do a lot of that in this game as well. There's been a lot of improvements to the game visually. There's a lot of more junk and random stuff sitting around inside the little depot there, so that's kind of cool to see. And we're going to taxi our way to the VTOL takeoff point, or whatever you'd call it. The helipad, I guess. The launch pad would be a good name for that. And we'll roll over there now and see if we can take off. So it's been really fun to play Microsoft Flight Simulator, and it makes me want to play this game more anytime I play that, because it makes me want to control a helicopter again. And this game essentially is like flying a helicopter. We'll come to a stop here and see if we can roll forward just a little bit more. There we go. I'm playing with my Logitech, no, my Thrustmaster 16000M. A good piece of equipment, too, by the way, to practice with, though I'm having a little trouble figuring out how to switch to flight mode from there. And it looks like we're not able to taxi anymore. So let's just go ahead and ignite the engines, and we'll just take off from here. Now, some of you know this game, some of you don't. Essentially, it's really like a pilot simulator like ATS or Euro Truck, American Truck Simulator, Euro Truck Simulator, where you can fly around a giant map. I'll show you the map now and pretty much show you everything there is to offer. Button's not working. Well, anyway, we're on a foreign planet. Think of Mars as if it were colonized and finally had water and oceans, and now humanity is essentially transporting equipment, things like batteries and food and other things that are required to do research all around the planet. And they need people to fly those ships to transport it, and this is the easiest way to do it, rather than building like rail lines or whatnot. Cargo ships are in high demand, and you happen to be one of those pilots, so good stuff. Now, I've been enjoying like flying some of the larger ships. I think there's 3 levels of ships so far in the game, medium, small, medium, and large. We're in the small one now that you start out with. And the cool thing about this game, too, is that if you happen to crash or whatnot, you just kind of get a free ship in return. All you're doing is paying insurance in this game, and anytime it goes boom, you can just restart, which is good because this game is still kind of early access and still figuring some things out. Really, to me, this kind of looks like Iceland or Greenland when it comes to, you know, landing in some of these areas. Really looks nice. There's another area to the planet, too, that looks a little bit more like Mars, but this is the starting island, which is really kind of cool. We're going to try to pick up a passenger here and fly around a little bit and see if I can get the hang of it. I like to see what's new in this game from time to time. We can actually fly in first person, too, by looking inside the ship or different camera views, which is kind of cool. There's even a cockpit view, which makes it a lot more challenging to fly in and a lot more realistic, too. Let's go ahead and see if we can go exterior mode here. Oh, this is going to be a bad landing. Whoop. We're fine. All right, so when that happens, you just basically eject, and your escape pod goes back to the start over there, or wherever the closest base is. No problem, though. The VTOL mode is a little, I'm usually flying, is what I should say. I don't have much practice with it anymore. But the cool thing is, even when you crash, you get a little escape pod, so your cockpit is what is switched between the ships. So your cockpit is always the same, and in fact, it's nicely detailed interior-wise. And I really wish each ship had a different one, but I understand how it works. It's like when you switch from one ship to another, essentially they'll just take this, your little cockpit, and then boom, put it right back into another ship. And you'll see that very soon. There we go. Our ship is back. See? Nothing happened. No harm done. All you got to do is pay that insurance premium. Now, we can load up with cargo here, too. You see on the right side, we can transport cargo or passengers. And on the right side here, I believe this is cargo, or, well, it's actually gear that we can upgrade with. But essentially, this is how it works in this game where, for example, these suspended scarab batteries, which give us a little bit extra capacity and air drag, cost about 5,000 credits, and so we'll have to transport things like water and batteries and fuel and other things around in order to do that. You can use your mouse or keyboard to fly as well in this game, but I would highly recommend a joystick or even a joypad, so that way you can, or gamepad or whatever you want to call it, so that way you can kind of have a little bit better control over pitch, roll, yaw. Definitely want a flight stick for this one. I don't think it would be very good with a yoke or whatnot, and luckily I've been able to use one of those. So we'll pretend whatever I just did didn't happen, and we'll just kind of taxi our way to the quote-unquote launch pad or something. Pretty good, pretty damn good, impressive graphics here compared to other games that I've seen out there. I'm getting really excited this year, or rather next, for updates for games like Elite Dangerous, American Truck Simulator, Euro Truck Simulator, and even Microsoft Flight Simulator. And I think this kind of enters that realm of the whole fantasy world of those types of games. Well, Elite Dangerous not being very realistic in terms of like actually existing, but it does a very good job of simulating what it might be like. So let's go ahead and try to fly around in first person a little bit. I kind of missed this planet, this little island, as it's a starting area that I initially left. But one of the cool things is landing on those little launch pads that you saw before and picking up cargo. And there's actually a crane that comes out of the back of your aircraft, or whatever you want to call it. And you can pick up people through the cargo bay or drop off cargo as well, and you have to be considerate of things like weight and fuel consumption. And of course, you can take one thing from one side of the planet to another, but you're going to have to make multiple pit stops in order to do it, and refuel and get all the stuff that you need on your way there. All right, let's come on down for a nice landing. Luckily, landing gear is automatic in this game. It'll detect whether or not you're close to a surface or not, and you can even land and take off from a runway, which I think is pretty impressive, actually, the fact that they've got both VTOL, vertical takeoff and landing, and also, of course, runways, too, for some of the larger ships. Well, let's go ahead and see if we can slow down our descent here.
Welcome to our growing center. Our trading floors are at
Oh, way too fast. All right. We'll give that a third time as a charm, I think, but each time is just practice for me to kind of learn it all out. Now, you can see what I assume is like we might be on a moon of a larger planet over there, and there's some really gorgeous screenshots in this game, too. In fact, you can kind of see a ring around that planet, and there's the sun off in the distance. And we'll need to be mindful of things such as wind and also radiation and whatnot. And there's also other areas to land and pick up, for example, lost cargo. You can recover that or go on rescue missions for other pilots. I want to try to activate some other views here to see some of the external views that actually show wind. And I don't think we're able to do it in this ship at the moment. But basically, you can have the wind at your tail, which will, of course, speed you up in terms of exiting an area. Of course, headwind will increase the amount of fuel that you consume. And fuel in this game is almost like batteries. It's kind of weird. You show like what seems to be rocket thrust or jet thrust, but it also is like you're charging a battery. In the lower left corner, you see the number there of 815 and going down quite quickly. I'm going to try to practice landings a little bit more. I've been so used to the larger ships that actually flying in a ship like this is quite different. It feels a lot less powerful and is very difficult. This is a plane that's kind of hard to start with, actually. For a new player playing this, it is a little challenging to learn the weight and the passengers. Even now, some of you have seen me play that before. Keep in mind, members, by the way, if you guys haven't smashed that like button, make sure you do. And let's get some wonderful orange sunglasses down here. It is a bright, beautiful day on this planet. So thanks again for subscribing and hanging out with me as I'm getting the hang of this game again and learning the vertical speed and whatnot, and kind of see how fast I'm going on the right side in terms of vertical speed. And that's just something that takes a little bit of getting used to after you're playing all sorts of other games. All right, looks like we're in communication with the ATC. This is much better. There we go. Well, third time's the charm. Now we can land here at the landing pad in order to refuel, but I think I'm going to just start halfway and go to try to pick up a passenger and see if, well, all right, I'll hit the landing pad and see what we can do about putting her down. There we go. And I think we'll put it down like right here and try to taxi our way towards that passenger. Like right here is probably good. And if we land perfectly in that square where the outline of the aircraft was, we can actually refuel from there and also grab cargo. But I want to try to take a passenger today and see what we can do. You can see a little bit of the wind kicking up there. Let's see if we can go into some of these other views. There you go. This is a view that kind of shows the outline of where it's safe to traverse and where it's safe to land, as well as some of the wind as well. There's other views that you can go into to see solar winds and radiation and things like that. Oops, sorry about that. There we go. Okay, let's go ahead and communicate with this guy. I think we should be able to somehow, let's see, signal to him that we will take him aboard. I forget exactly how to do it, though. A lot of new things to learn in this game. A lot of new added features. Of course, I like the new paint jobs and stuff. It makes you actually feel like you have like a business if you can choose a certain logo for your aircraft or whatnot. All right, let's see. So we've, wow, look at that. We burned through, we're down like 557 fuel. Are we still consuming fuel if we're sitting still like this? We're at 556. Oh, wow. So even with the ship off, we're still burning, I guess, life support systems or lights or whatnot might still be burning, quote-unquote, fuel, which is really just like battery power. All right, let's go ahead and see if we can pick this guy up. Can't remember what the keys are to do so. I'm hitting enter. We might have to hit escape. No. Ah, there we go. Now he finally triggered. Okay, well, we'll go ahead and get this guy here. We'll go ahead and allow him on board. That's weird. I was rolling forward even though we didn't have anything engaged. Okay, we're good. All right, so we will earn a few credits for doing this. I'm in. Let's go to Nord. Okay. So now we just got to go 3 kilometers in front of us. And with practice will make perfect. I played this game a few times when I first started playing it and became quite a good pilot, but after a while you kind of get a little, you know, like the surface of Mars, just a little rusty. Not great, but, you know, it's all good. It's good fun. There's also a flight mode in this game, though we'll be using VTOL mode for most of this since we've only got to go about 2 or 3 kilometers to get there. And you can kind of see how I'm adjusting the thrusters by leaning the flight stick forward. We can actually adjust our forward movement and vertical. You can also aim those engines pointing up so that way you can increase your vertical speed as well. All right, looks like we flew over a volcano, and your aircraft can actually be damaged in this game, which is really cool that there's actually physical damage. One of the big complaints and things that people always want to see in other flight sim games is where's the damage? I want to see damage. You know, where's all that stuff? Well, this game certainly has this. We got about 10 seconds of fuel left because of our damages and such. You can see everything that was damaged on the left side. We've got a few seconds of fuel left. And there we go. Passenger delivered. Wow. Pretty good landing, I'd say. All right, let's see if we can go ahead and drop this guy off. I'm not exactly sure how to get it to trigger. There you go. Excellent. Well, this is exactly where he needed to go. He steps out the back. And there we go. All right, well, we're in no shape to fly anywhere. I believe there is a way to order drones, though, if you're completely out of fuel. So it's like you're totally fine to get back to base. Let's try out some other aircraft now. I'll have some more practice under my belt. Again, when you're playing this game, it's all about just, you know, practice makes perfect by actually doing it. And that's really where the fun is to upgrade your skills and your ship as you continue to earn money in this game. All right, much better this time around. We're going to go change ships now. I've got myself repair drones that just showed up, and one of the nice things, too, about this game is you can modify a profile to have pretty much unlimited funds, so that way you can see how everything works and buy all the ships off the bat so you can kind of get a feel for how it all works. It's one of the things that people like to do in, for example, American Truck Simulators. Whenever there's a new truck or a mod to try out, it's good to get the money to test it out to see its quality and how it changes the environment and the gameplay style before you actually truly invest money in it. So it's always a good idea in this game to have 2 profiles. One, your serious profile, where you play legitimately to get the most out of the game, but then another one to play modified, so you also get the most out of the game by experiencing what it's like to try some of the other ships. It's always a pain in the neck sometimes to spend a lot of money in a game for something that you might not necessarily like or might want to do it a different way, that type of thing. So we're going to try to land over on our, believe our left side here is where we can change our ships. So that's marked as a destination point right now. There's a very large map too, by the way, that I want to display, but we can't show at the moment. Although it seems like this is just one island. This is just one of Basically, it's the size of like Iceland. Just think of that in your mind. And then the main island, or the main area where most business goes down, is about maybe more like the size of Australia in comparison. We're going to come in for a nice landing now. I'm starting to improve my skills again. Every time I play this, I'm always like starting back at start, and it's always fun to kind of like simulate a soft landing to see how good you can get it. And I certainly have a lot of fun in this game. We do need to land out in front of this large hangar here so we can switch ships. So let's see if we can do that. I believe you can also store ships too. So of course you can have one ship at one hangar and another ship at another. So that way if you want to run passenger operations with one ship such as this one and cargo with another, you can differentiate between the two. With the customization now, the customization options, and of course the ability to fly cargo with a more powerful ship or multiple powerful ships depending on how you want to do it. Oh. Alright, just a little bounce there. Not too bad. Okay, let's see if we can get this guy to pick us up. Now, I've also noticed that there seems to be like little crawlers or something like that. Little trucks or something that'll pick up your craft and move it around. So I'm not exactly sure what those are for, but it seems like it might be a way to transport yourself around the map for taxing or repairs, or at least that's what the ground crews use. Alright, so this is one type of ship. So the Scarab here is your smaller type ship. We also have ourselves the Ox here, which I hope it'll actually let me see. I won't show it, but usually what we've been using is the Balena, which is a very big, giant ship. And the Ox is kind of like, it's almost like a pickup truck. It's like a pickup truck, maybe like a delivery van, and then this is almost like an aircraft carrier. The jump between Ox and this one is immense. This one is more than double, and this one's less than it, but it just seems so much larger. It's insane how large some of that stuff gets. Alright, what I'd like to do then is, let's see if we can exit view here. I want to see if we can actually like take a look at this ship. It'd be nice if they actually let us do some customization on it. I just want to be able to see it. Let's see if we can do that. Now, we should have some of these ships too through our insurance, but there's also insurance options for some of those too. Oh, there we go. We can actually see behind it now. That's cool. Next camera positions to be able to view it when you're upgrading it. That's cool. So if you're upgrading something like the paint job and you want to know if it looks cool, or if you're upgrading like the cargo space, you can see how large it makes the ship. And of course that changes all the drag and the ability to haul cargo and cargo space and whatnot. So, alright, let's go ahead and exit then. I don't have enough money at the moment, but I was under the assumption that I already own those ships and could just spawn from them here. Although I believe if you store a ship, you have to find it on the map. So let's go take a look at that map. So here's where we are now. And the areas in which we can go to are all the way over here, where there's some smaller islands. I believe Regular Transport is where I might have some of my other ships. But as you can see, there's a very large island here. Some of which is flooded, but it's almost like the shape of a donut with a lot of water in the center. And it's really cool to see the whole map here, where there's all sorts of different craters and power plants and things like that. I like it. I wonder if there's any more. I just don't want to miss anything else in this game. I've only seen one other quote-unquote continent, but it looks like everything else is kind of just in that area there. Eventually, they'll probably add more islands. Maybe there'll be more things to see. There are flying aircraft carriers and stuff in the game, which are pretty cool to be able to land on and take off from, as well as ships too. But a really nice area is to use your first Scarab here on this island, and then once you're ready to fly across, it's a good idea to upgrade to the Ox and then fly to this island here after a brief refueling. You're actually able to go into a flight mode that allows you to go here and then to distribute items elsewhere. Probably spending a lot of time at the mines, the hard mines, usually transporting materials between that and North 1. A lot of big maps here to look at. So, alright, let's go back to the ship. Let's see if we can actually exit here. There we go. And do another takeoff. There we go. Now, I'd like to fly some cargo around, but what I want to try to do is a quote-unquote transatlantic flight. Looks like they didn't even give us a full charge yet from our maintenance time. And so I don't think we'll be able to make it to our destination without refueling, but I believe we can refuel up here. Possibly on top of this thing here. I believe this is a space elevator where cargo can be brought to and then is somehow shot up into space or something. And you can see there's a couple of landing pads on the sides. Though I don't know if we're large enough to actually land up on those ones. Let's try to land here. I've never really done business up here before, so I'm kind of curious to see what will happen if we try to land up here. There's a lot of different locations to go to. There's also ground-based aircraft carriers, which I always love to take off from. I'm trying to restrain myself from doing that and just explore the main island again. The first island. I just find it to be quite interesting. Okay, there we go. Alright, well, a successful landing, that's for sure. Take a look around here. There is actually a cargo bay over there. That's interesting. And this must be areas to pick up and drop off cargo. Oh, there we go. We can actually move ourselves on the... that's how we taxi around without having to use the throttle. So just out of curiosity, let's see how this works. Oh, wow. We can actually roll off that thing and just, like... It's like a kick-starting in second gear. That's awesome. Well, let's go get some fuel and see if we can make our way to the other destinations and actually try to deliver something other than a passenger. Our first delivery was successful. We probably just wouldn't have gotten a tip for it. Well, let's go ahead and land here next to the destination point. Now, there's all sorts of flora and fauna in the game. Well, maybe not so much fauna, as most of it is underground, or under the water, I should say. But you can see, like, little creatures and such creating oxygen or whatnot. That's how this planet might actually have oxygen on it. All right, let's see if we can do a nice little landing here. Starting to get the hang of it, right? Starting to get comfortable with my joystick again and the game's controls and mechanics. The game is also set up with a wizard, you know, like a quick start, so that way you don't have to do too much to actually become set up with your joystick or whatnot. Let's see if we can park this thing here. Great, you've arrived. My name is Palm. I'm the director of Greenway. Oh, is this the very start of the game? Oh, that's weird. My profile here should... Oh, maybe... Yeah, it could have gotten reset as well. Sometimes that happens where, you know, a game might totally reset on you. Okay, let's buy some... Actually, can we buy recharge? Oh, there we go. There you go. So that's the recharge, where it's more like feels like electricity than fuel. And oh yes, of course. In order to earn money to do rations, you actually have to buy cargo, and then you get paid for the cargo and the delivery. So it's basically, you know, you have to buy it, and then when you deliver it, you get reimbursed for the purchase price plus the delivery distance. So if you're ever in the case like I am and you don't have any money, then you just basically do passengers, and that should make you some cash. Oh, look at that's the name of our ship too, the Scarab Fearless. So you can actually name them, which is kind of cool. All right, well, let's go find some more passengers to drop off. It's not really a big deal. It doesn't make as much money as cargo, but you can hold more passengers, and they usually don't have to go very far. Ah, yes, we are simulating what it's like to be completely broke, which we've all been there before. All right, let's fly around a little bit. It is beautiful to look at this world. Some of these cameras, though, these camera angles are very cinematic, but sometimes difficult to fly in. Now we're back inside the ship here. First-person view. Go find ourselves another passenger. Something over here marked in green, which I may have put on our marker before. This area called Bora? Alright, let's go over this way. So yes, there's many things in this game that are looking to basically knock you out of the sky. Radiation if you go too high. There's active volcanoes. There, I believe, is... well, of course, there's plenty of objects and stuff that might try to pop into you if you're not careful. Things like towers, radio towers, for example, on the ground there. And there's always active geysers and such. They built these bases here as a term of power source. And some areas actually have, like, active fans, where the geysers are so large that they're actually able to put a large turbo fan over the top of it and gain energy by that thing just basically erupting, which is pretty cool. But I just wanted to do some landings this way, because it's one of the things that I enjoyed recently in Microsoft Flight Sim. And to be honest, it's pretty cool to be able to play every different game a little bit differently. I'm getting excited for Odyssey, for example, the Odyssey update for Elite Dangerous, which will be cool. And this is the only game I can think of at the moment where you're actually flying cargo around on a specific, like, destination. I don't think there's any other game where you can actually fly cargo around. Of course, Microsoft Flight Sim with mods, and of course, Elite Dangerous has the ability to fly cargo between planets, but I don't think you can actually do it on a single planet, which feels a little bit more like a contractor, which I kind of like. Let's take a look at this landing here. Feels good to be back in the good old Scarab again. I missed it, usually spending all my time in the Ox or what have you. Let's go ahead and try to pick this guy up now. Oh, wait a minute, I was way off from that one. I wanted to at least land here and then just roll over to him. There we go. Alright, not too bad. There are some points in the game where it will seemingly lag a bit when you're coming in for a landing, which, of course, that's the least amount of time you want it to lag, is when you're landing. Trying to get this guy to come on in, buddy. Let's see, will he come in here? Back and forth on the joystick is the way to actually steer around when you're taxiing, which is very strange. I have an urge to, like, turn on the thrust, but, oh, now, is it raining? No. Maybe that was just some high winds. Okay, let's see. Wing auto angle of attack off. Wait a minute. Wanted to take a look at the tail there and see what it was doing. Okay, let's try to open the tail. Let's open the tailgate here and see if this guy wants to come on in. Let's see, what button is that? So that's the one to see the map, of course. And we can zoom in and out and see where we're at and where we need to go. Let's exit the map. Let's see. Discuss route. Set destination. Is this where she wants to go? I don't know who this is here. But I'm just trying to get them on my ship. Ma'am, do you want to ride or what? Here, there's the door. It's open. It'd be kind of cool if you pulled up and opened up the door. It's kind of like you're hinting that you want to give a ride. And we have to put this circle here. Let's actually try to... I don't even know if that person knows we're here. Let's just sneak up and see if we can get them on board. Here, let's try this. It's pretty fun. Hello? You just clip right through them. You can't crush them or anything. Let's see if we can back it up again. Yeah, nothing. Yeah, the cargo gate is open as it says in the upper left or lower left corner, so I guess that doesn't recognize it as us trying to take cargo on board. Let's see if we can roll that thing up. I'm hitting all the buttons for it. Bum, bum, bum. Much easier and much more enjoyable to use this with the joystick. It's true. It very, very much is an improved game with the joystick and such. But it is a little bit of a pain in the neck to change settings or to identify them, which is why I'm having trouble here. The settings, for example, differ between the joystick and the thrust, like the thrust throttle. So there's a difference between those two. I'm going to try to take off and land and see if this triggers this person to actually, like, come on board. This is what we had to do last time. Wow, look at that, how the thrust actually kicks up wind in all directions. Look at that, as we push backwards. Wow, I'm really impressed with that. The thrust actually kicks up a very long distance. That's cool. All right, let's go. I guess we can get some fuel then while we wait for this person. So there are differences to where you pick up cargo and pick up passengers. So if you land at a place like this, just keep in mind that if you land here, you might need to taxi to go pick up a passenger. It'd be kind of cool if they put passenger terminals in the game. Here we actually see the cargo terminal where cargo is delivered via flatbed truck like that. Quite large, actually. You can see that those tires are about the size of a human body. And then there's about maybe 10 or 20 spots on that vehicle for cargo. And then, of course, it's offloaded via the crane and then is put into the back of the ship this way. Let's roll up that cargo gate. Oh, now it works. Okay, that was interesting. All right, let's try to pull in here. One thing I wish that these landing pads would have is you do need to be oriented in the right direction in order to accept cargo. So it would be nice if you taxied onto here, you kind of have to back in when you taxi if you're trying to pick up cargo. So if you land here to drop off a passenger over by the tower and then you need to taxi over here, it's a little bit of a pain to actually do it. But not too bad. It's okay. But I do like all the updates and stuff for flying around passengers and stuff. And actually looking like you own your own, your own business with the ability to customize the colors. I don't think that was here before. I'm just noticing that is new now. But with all the other ships and such, it's a good idea to possibly give those a try. And I want to go back and try some of those more when I have some more time to try this one out. But again, just so you're aware, new updates out, new stuff, and all the same good old maps, but always a good opportunity to give this game a try. When you start, you'll be in this ship, and you'll start where we had kind of towards the beginning, and there's lots of cargo and stuff to take around. It's relatively, uninteresting once you get up in the sky. Just like with any other flight simulator, the journey is not as interesting as it is to take off and land and haul cargo and see it loaded. The ground operations, the loading and the unloading, and the cargo and upgrades and stuff are fun to see. But once you're on your way to a destination, luckily this one doesn't take 40 minutes or so to get from point A to point B. It takes maybe like 5 or 10 minutes. You land, you drop off your cargo, you make some money, you customize, and you do it again. So if you're looking for something in addition to Microsoft Flight Sim, or to hold you over until Elite Dangerous's Odyssey update is out, or if you like games where you transport cargo but you're kind of bored of American Truck Simulator or Euro Truck, Flight Sims are awesome. This definitely feels like one, and Frontier Pilot Simulator is really fun as well. Thanks to them for sponsoring this video. I want to come on back and do this one some more as well on the channel, so if you guys want to see more of this game and see me actually transport cargo live or whatnot, make sure you smash that like button. Thank you as always for your support, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks for being the greatest community on YouTube, and let me know if you got this game or if you're going to check it out, what you think about it, and I'll see you all next time. Have a great day, and we'll see you soon, guys. Goodbye, everyone.